A standing ovation not only at the end, but the beginning as well. Thomas Piketty says South Africa comes top of the class, but this time it's a dubious honour. We're among the best in the world when it comes to inequality. He says 60 to 65% of all income earned in this country goes to the top 10%. Compare this to Europe, where the figure sits at around 30 to 35%. Income inequality is one thing. He's called for more data around who has accumulated wealth over time, because investments affect future income flows.
I understand that many people, in particular many business leaders that I have met in recent days, are very skeptical about the capacity of the government to deliver this. But on the other hand, I think there's no other option than to try to improve the functioning and to contribute to pay the tax that we need in order to finance this public sector of education. There's no other strategy. The strategy according to which we could do it through privatizing the education system, the health system, and let the business sector do it, I think will not work. I think what has worked in history in order to have sustainable and equitable growth is to have a well-functioning public education and health system, and South Africa should go in this direction.
So what's behind South Africa's inequality that has increased rather than decreased since democracy? He looks at apartheid's legacy, global factors like commodity prices and unemployment, but says that's not all. Piketty says South Africa needs more ambitious land reform. He's also endorsed South Africa's move towards a minimum wage. He says better education should be a national priority.
South Africa will benefit from increased transparency about wealth and about who owns what in South Africa. And I think it is very difficult to have a reasonable democratic conversation about wealth with so little information. So in particular, people talk about BEE policy and their impact, but in fact, there's really very little data on wealth. It will be important and absolutely possible for South Africa to introduce an annual tax on net wealth, a progressive annual tax on net individual wealth. Even if it comes with very low tax rate to begin with, say 0% below 1 million rands in wealth, 0.1% between 1 and 10 million, and 0.5% above 10 million. I'm just putting numbers so that people have an idea. I think even with relatively low tax rates such as this one, the big advantage of an annual tax on wealth is that it will produce democratic transparency about wealth, and we would know more about who owns what in South Africa and how this is changing over time.
Piketty ended saying that the young, growing population in South Africa and Africa is an asset.
You have many countries in Eastern Europe, they don't want children and they don't want migrants either. So, they're going to disappear. And now South Africa and Africa are not going to disappear. And I think if these challenges that we have referred to today are addressed adequately, I think Africa and South Africa are the future of the world. And so let me conclude this. And thanks a lot for your attention.